So let us look at the grading system used in the KJSEA exam under the Kenyan CBC. KJSEA stands for Kenya Junior Secondary Education Assessment. Kenya Junior Secondary Education Assessment. So this is the grading system that is used in KJSEA, which is an examination for students completing grade 9. So they are exiting from junior school into senior school. So you can watch a separate clip in this channel where we have discussed national examinations done under CBC from the lowest grade up to the senior schools before a student joins university. So for this particular one, Kenya Junior Secondary Education Assessment grading system, we have, instead of the old grading system in 844, which used to be grade A minus, grade B plus, grade B minus, etc. Now we have the first grade is exceeding expectation 1. And exceeding expectation 1 is almost, you can equate it to the A plane of the old 844 Kenyan system. It gives a student 8 points. And then exceeding expectation 2, you can almost equate it to the A minus in the old 844 grading system. And when a student gets that in a subject, they have 7 points. And then you continue that way. So meeting expectation 1 is 6 points. Meeting expectation 2 is 5 points. Approaching expectation 1 is 4 points. Approaching expectation 2 is 3 points. And then for lack of space, I can write the other side. Below expectation 1 is 2 points, and then below expectation 2 is 1 point, right? So this is the grading system used here. But then, if you don't understand what the points stand for, then we can go for the marks. So if that particular child scores 90 to 100%, 90% to 100%. So assuming they have 93% in English, that child has exceeding expectation 1, 8 points. But if they have 88%, then they don't have exceeding expectation 1. They have exceeding expectation 2. Because exceeding expectation 2 starts from 75 to 89%. So you can see a student with 88% is under exceeding expectation 2. But then, assuming a student scores 63%, that means they will fall between 58% to 74%. That range of marks is now meeting expectation 1. So if that particular student scores 66% in the Kenyan education system in KJSEA, then that child has got a meeting expectation 1. Then that means for meeting expectation 2, you have 41% to 57%. And then that order continues. So approaching expectation 1, 4 point means the child scored between 31% to 40%. And then approaching expectation 2 means the child scored 21% to 30%. For a child to get 2 points, that is below expectation 1, they will have scored 11% to 20%. And then for a student or a child to score below expectation 2, which is 1 point, then that particular learner scored between 1% to 10%, right? So this is how the grading system is done. So when you hear the cabinet secretary in the Kenyan education system releasing results, because that is the duty of the cabinet secretary, then he says that 400,000 learners scored exceeding expectation 1 in English, for example. Then it will mean that 400,000 learners scored between 90 to 100%. So it is important for parents and for teachers to follow this grading system and understand it, because it is from this grading system that your son or daughter or your learner in the school is going to get the total aggregate points that will be used to place them in senior school. So you can track this grading system as early as from grade 3. You start checking what is the range of marks that the child is getting. And then that range of marks, you convert it to points. And then those points you convert to aggregate points. And then the aggregate points you check with the classification of schools in senior school. Then you will know the consistency of that aggregate point and which particular category of senior school this child is likely to go to. Then you start planning with either extra tuition or extra coaching, or hyping the resource materials, etc., so that you get the desired classification of category of schools in the senior school, right? So this is important, and we have that particular video for classification of senior schools in this channel. So if you watch that video, you will understand more about placement of learners in the senior schools based on aggregate points. Thank you very much.